Alex, save this right now. All right, I'm good for 45 minutes of talking about bullshit. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. All right, so we are back. A little bit of a hiatus with the. This is the 5th episode or the 6th episode.
I think it's the fifth.
I think it's the 5th, but it also might be the 6th. I don't know.
We're taking a week off and everything's gone.
It's all
fuzzy.
gone downhill.
This is the 6th. The 5th one was with Alex. Oh, 6 in. We're already losing count. We should be 7 in. So yeah, sorry for last week's absence. As we said, we are all college students, so things are getting to be a little bit of crunch time. My midterm week was last week. Theirs is this week, but last weekend we were all pretty swamped with either studying or homework to get done before studying for the stats. So I didn't post anything for that regarding it. If we disappear for a weekend, just know that it's just probably all of our schedules misaligned or something came up on the Sunday where a majority of us couldn't meet. But other than that, we're here for this weekend. I think we should be good for the next foreseeable while. There's a couple of weeks in October that are going to be dicey, but I think we're going to go into it with more pre-planning. That way we don't flat out miss a week. We at least have some content that goes out on Monday. But yeah, I was talking to him earlier. Tom, you were going to say something about
Yeah,
how late
we're
this podcast?
recording 4 hours later than we normally would, or later than
So
we were planning to initially.
It's 8 o'clock on Sunday, and that's on me.
And Jonathan said 4 p.m.
To be fair, and Jacob defended me, I said I would be done hanging out with my grandpa today at 4. That did imply that I would be doing the podcast at 4, but I was right. I was done hanging out with my grandpa at 4. I went to a car show with him, but we went grocery shopping, and I was talking yesterday with Trevor about buffalo chicken dip that you would eat with chips. And he was like, man, that stuff's so good. And I'm like, man, I want some. So at the grocery store today, I was like, I'm going to find some buffalo chicken dip. I'm going to have it for dinner. Like the pre-made stuff. Look all over Kroger. Nothing. I come home and Trevor's talking about going to Target to get groceries. And then my mind's on buffalo chicken dip. And he's like, we'll find it at Target. I'm like, all right, let's go to Target. We go to Target. We look for buffalo chicken dip. Nothing. Couldn't find any buffalo chicken dip. So we're leaving. And we're like, whatever. And then on the way out, he's like, you know what, Johnny? Let's just make the buffalo chicken dip. Can't be that hard. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make the chicken dip. We turn around. I pull up some recipe off of Google. Start making buffalo chicken dip. Took a little bit longer than I expected. I was texting in the Discord being like, hey, we're going to record this time. Never mind this time. No, dinner's taking a while. And then I was still late. And then my Mac decided to be frustrating. But out of all of this, I have buffalo chicken dip with me right now. And it's the best buffalo chicken dip in the world.
Now that is, I too have something that brings me great joy. Just prior to the podcast,
eat your heart out. Eat my buffalo chicken dip.
But yeah, speaking about,
I have to go really far away from the mic when I eat because I don't want to chew into the mic.
You could just do like push to talk and mute yourself whenever you're chewing.
Too late.
That's what I do. Is I have my headset mic and I just flip it up anytime I want to take a drink of water. That way you don't hear into the microphone.
You just heard it.
And well, that's a demonstration. That's not a.
I'm not sure you're the kind of guy that when you join the Discord, you just make some awful noise.
It's true. That's how people know I'm here.
Well, but anyways.
Like when I joined the Discord today and Jacob was here, I said Joe Mama as the first thing.
Did you really? I didn't actually notice that.
Yeah, I came in and you said hello and I said Joe Mama.
That makes sense, I guess.
But speaking of midterms and having something joyful just before
I was just about to say, how's midterm week going? But go ahead.
I have, as part of one of my classes this semester is really cool. It's a game development class where we have to make video games as the class curriculum. And I've been working on mine all day because it's due at midnight, so in like 3 hours after the podcast is done or whatever. And I've been having this issue all day where I couldn't get it to parse player input correctly. And I fixed it literally 30 seconds before we started recording. So I'm in a very elated mood.
Could you just roll up into class with like Mario and then submit Mario?
I
No,
mean,
you get flagged for plagiarism
yeah, you would get a flag for plagiarism, but like
and laughed at.
part of the like
What if you
rubric,
submit something
you're
so vague?
saying what if you just submit something that is Mario but isn't Mario? And I get that. Part of the curriculum is that your game has to be original,
Ah,
Yeah. So
or it has to be original enough.
Tom invented his own game.
Well, my game started, I think, cool in concept, but then I didn't know how to do it, so now my game is lame. But
don't
I'm still
tell
happy
people
that it's
steal
working.
your idea.
Yeah, and then they make millions of dollars off of it.
I don't know. I could like send you like a link to like a download for the game. It's really
Bad.
a game that I made in probably, I don't know, 12 hours of working on it. So it's not like I'm gonna make a bunch of money from my half-assed, assignment or whatever. I say half-assed, but I've been working really hard on it. It's just I don't think it's that good.
2 weeks and he doesn't even remember the language rule.
Rip. You're right. My brain decided that wasn't a rule anymore.
I think I'm done editing it out. I'm just gonna throw bleeps over every time you guys say this.
Don't make it a violent bleep because that's like really off-putting to people who listen to your stuff. Just like
Yeah.
I don't know how to like say don't make the bleep like really loud.
Make it interesting.
But
Make
it
like
was-
a, ha, ha,
Just
ha,
do-
ha,
just do it.
ha,
really
ha,
funny.
ha.
I was gonna say just do a jump cut through the word.
I could just record me saying like a PG word and then putting it over you.
Honestly, that's way better. Like, what the frick? Like that. That's
And it's like,
funny.
it doesn't line up at all.
Yeah, do that. Please do that. That's funny.
I was working my butt off. Doesn't work because it's my
Yeah, that's
voice
so
for the
good,
whole
that's so
sentence.
good. Wait, no, here, I'll do it. I was working my. Why, John?
Oh, sorry, I was supposed to
You
say
son
that.
of a.
But wait, no, that was the first one.
I mean, it worked. It's fine. You really failed me though. I'm like low key really sad though.
Whoa, it was almost like it was comedically done on purpose.
That just makes you an ass. Oh, but
No, you don't. Oh,
it's almost like that
I
was
don't
done
know
on
if it's gonna be
purpose.
more work or less work now.
Probably less. Just leave it
Anyway.
in.
But also, Maddie is almost done with our static image that we'll throw up for the podcast after
Ooh,
the
everyone shout out
title card.
Maddie. She's
Yeah.
single.
What a thing to say.
Someone
And
go
there are
wipe
still
her
some
up.
things that I will just have to cut out because I don't want them publicly said on the podcast.
like the fact that Maddie's single.
Yeah.
Why would
Can I
you
say
not want that
I'm
on the
single? Is that
podcast?
allowed?
I don't want to talk about people's relationship status on the
Will you
podcast.
please keep that in? That's the stupidest thing to get rid of.
Why do
Oh
we
my
why do we
God.
keep it?
It's just a joke. It was just a stupid comment that I made on purpose.
What if we post the art and someone's like, "Wow, he's a really good artist."
I don't know.
Stalk her because she's single.
I doubt that's gonna happen.
What if between uploading this, she gets in a relationship,
Well, then it would be wrong, wouldn't it?
and then someone shoots their shot because you said that she was single?
To be quite honest with you, I don't think that's gonna happen. I just said Maddie. We don't. have
Wow,
a last name.
what a way to throw shade at Maddie.
No, Maddie's a cute girl. It's just like she doesn't. We don't have a last name. We don't have anything. There's no. It's so stupid. John knows.
Oh
it's-
yes, because it's not like a majority of our friend group listens to this and only.
Oh
know
my God!
one
But,
Maddie.
but the thing is that if somebody already knew Maddie and wanted to shoot their shot, they already know she's single, homie.
What if
He's
our
got you
friends
there.
shouted out to their friends, so they're in our friends network, but they're
Then
not
they
our
could just
immediate
ask
friends.
their friends if she's single. Point
But
is,
that's
that-
okay because they hear it from a source instead of our podcast.
Oh, whatever.
Are you saying our podcast is not
Maddie's
a source?
single and looking to mingle.
Anywho, other than the fact that I made the world's greatest buffalo chicken dip,
Debatable.
Have you had it?
No, but I'm just.
Then you can't debate.
I'm gonna shit on you because you were telling me I couldn't say Maddie was single.
The more you talk, the more I cut.
Damn.
What would you do if you
Jonathan's
never listened to
bringing
these?
down the law.
I'm joking. I'm not gonna cut any of it.
If I never listen to these, I'll listen to them and I was just never in them.
Yeah, like Alex said, he was like, "I've listened to this and I've never heard your voice before."
I don't know. I'd probably just not. I'd stop recording with you.
But it's like at the end when we're already done.
End of what?
Oh, they're doing this for a year.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Initially, it's like contract.
Legitimately, I'd probably be really upset.
I mean, I imagine you would.
Yeah, I'd probably be pretty mad. Thanks for asking, John.
Don't worry, you're somebody's favorite of the hosts.
Wow.
I imagine, statistically speaking, it's probable, but
Thanks, Cammy's mom. I love you.
you're Cammy's mom's favorite host.
Yeah, she's my favorite fan.
Everybody,
That's really
comment
creepy,
your
I'm
favorite
sorry.
host below.
I'm trying to type in. Can you hear me type?
No.
Okay, good, because I'm typing in chemical equations. They're really interesting. You want to hear about them?
No, please.
So the Joker movie was pretty good.
Oh, I was
Have,
supposed
have
to
you
see
seen
that
the Joker,
yesterday.
Jonathan?
I have not.
Yeah,
but
so
I
it
also
was
don't
really
care,
crazy
so-
when like Thanos came.
Yeah, I thought it was really strange when Doctor Strange came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was really weird. No, it was a solid
Speaking
movie.
of Doctor Strange, I've been
Oh,
watching
God.
a lot of Sherlock. I love Sherlock.
Why
What
you
a good show!
suck?
Almost
Why-
as good as my
Speaking
buffalo
of
chicken dip.
Sherlock, I watched Nancy Drew a few nights ago, the new TV show series.
No, we're not talking about Joker.
We can talk about Joker, but now you've got me on Nancy Drew. I watched Nancy Drew, and it was good. I enjoyed it. It was spookier than I expected.
Yeah,
There's
she
a-
said that you were afraid to walk home.
There was a little spooky spook. There's a little ghost.
A,
There you go.
a spooky specter.
You know they have been making Nancy Drew games since 1998,
They're really good too.
and there are like 30 some of them.
They're cult classics. No, like it was like a spooky little show, and there was like so Cammy didn't think there was gonna be like an actual. Can I say this? It's not really a
Well,
spoiler.
let's say spoiler if it's gonna be a
Spoiler. It's kind of a spoiler, but really not. So I didn't think there was gonna be like an actual spooky like, ghost in it, but like it's looking like it's a real ghost, and that's really interesting. And that's it. Like I was surprised they decided to make the ghost a real ghost. You know, not like a Scooby Doo scenario where it's like there was a camera in the back hall, and when you turn on the projector,
It was
you
the
know,
mirrors.
yeah,
They took
exactly.
the ghost mask off. It was a whole man Jenkins the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So I was surprised that it seems like they're going with a real specter, a real ghost, which is interesting.
Are they, or are they keeping you hooked with that?
No,
and-
it looked pretty
creepy.
Creepy. Oh, that's where you go. Frickin'.
And I have a busy day tomorrow.
Sorry. I'm like really tired, so my filter's especially off right now. Yeah. Also, the Joker was really good.
What would you give Joker out of 10?
Oh, like 8.5.
That's the
9.
the group of people that I saw it with. We all gave like a similar rating. Where we were like
Yeah.
7, 8, 9.
I wanted to give it a 9, but then I was like 8.5, just to be like, I
It
don't know.
promotes mass murder, so I'm
No.
against.
So having seen
That
it,
is
like,
something I read online. That is not my actual
before
opinion.
actually seeing it, I was like, oh, that has to be kind of overblown. But then honestly, Tom, like at that end scene, I was like, yeah, I see it. I was like, I get it.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah, I had the same like reaction because at first people were like, "There's other police, like people. Some cities are having to hire more police." I'm like, "Oh, that's so silly." And then I watched at the end of the film, and I was like, "You know what? I kind of get it. Like, I see what you're saying. Like, I still think it's a great film. I don't think it all should be like not watched. Like, definitely go see it. It's really good." But like, I understand.
I'm gonna say like in italics the word that. So without spoilers, that scene.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is probably
I know the one you're
one of
talking
them.
about.
It's probably one of the more powerful scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
It's a very powerful scene.
Have you not seen when Hiccup's dad dies and How to Train Your Dragon 2?
The whole tail end of the movie is super powerful.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I
so good,
saw.
What about
saw
when
a lot
Hiccup's
of-
dad finds his wife after so long of her being gone, and then he goes up to her and she's like, "Now, Stoic, I know what you're going to say. How could I leave you with our baby? And then he's like, "You're as beautiful as the day I lost ya." I legitimately watched just that scene a week ago,
Isn't
and
that
I
like
felt emotions. I love those
Wait,
movies.
I don't want to be stupid real fast. Isn't what's the actor's name?
His name is Stoic.
Yeah, Butler. He's the guy who voices that guy and what's his freaking name from 300.
Spartacus?
Yeah, I think it is Spartacus, but I don't want to say that and be wrong.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
Stoic. He's such a good character.
You know who I like?
Way too much in Now Train Your Dragon 3.
I like the White Dragon.
The Bright Fury?
I've not seen that, by the way. I've not even seen the movie.
Spoiler alert, it's good.
Well, you know what's better?
Spoiler alert, Cammy didn't think it was good.
Joker. Joker was so good. It's about a lot of things. It can be applied to a lot of different people's situations depending on how your life is going. And it's good. And everyone should see it, low key.
On the debate of movies, who was I having this discussion with earlier? Was it you, Jacob? We were talking about Coco and the Book of Life. Yeah, we were at Bad Wolf.
Were we? Oh, we were?
Yes, Bad Wolf. Have
What
you
was that?
seen either of these movies, Tom?
Nope.
Oh, wait,
So
yeah,
I've seen the Book of Life, and Jacob
I've seen
hasn't.
Coco.
And Jacob's seen Coco, and I haven't. And both of us think the other is better. So now you
I
have to
haven't
watch
seen one of
both.
them.
But when
Yo,
we were in Bad Wolf, you were
wait,
saying
wait,
that
wait,
Coco
wait.
was better than. This was our argument: is that we were arguing for the movie we had seen, but neither of us had seen the other one's movie.
I was probably just making fun of your movie, man. It probably had very little to do with my actual thoughts.
No. This is where we stand. So Tom, you have to watch Coco and the Book of Life.
And you have to tell
by
us
next
what's better.
week. Yeah, to tell us what's better.
I have another movie recommendation after all this, but continue.
At the end, he plays the song for the Toro.
Oh yeah, yeah, you need to talk about this.
It's like, Toro, I am sorry. Da-da-da-da-da-da. What are they doing, Coco? Although Coco did make my stepdad cry, so
In Coco, they go,
all I
I'm
know is
the
they
Coco.
put them on your head. I'm your more, I'm
I'm
your
your
more.
more.
You
Make me
make me
poco
un poco
loco.
loco, un poquitico loco. The
Wow,
way
that's
you
really
keep me
good.
guessing. And I always see that video where they put a sombrero on a cat and
There's
he
a
can't
bunch
get
of
off his
songs.
head.
The one that plays at the end is really good too.
What's the sad one from that one?
Is it that "Remember Me" song?
Oh, remember me, though I have to say goodbye.
Yeah, that song's really.
Na,
Oh,
na,
that's such a
na.
good movie, dude.
You know.
Now I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like Joker has more cultural
What's
significance.
better, Coco or Joker?
Joker has more cultural significance for sure.
But what if you were in Mexico?
I feel like the Joker is low key art. I don't know, man. Not to be like pretentious, by the way, about Joker being art. I just think it is definitely like it's like a movie that
Kind of
people that,
borderline and getting on that area.
it's like people who like enjoy movies for like deeper meanings will definitely enjoy Joker. I feel like. Also, everyone should go watch The Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. One of my friends reminded me that the movie existed. It's a good movie.
What's that one movie you try to get us to watch at your apartment?
Which one? Come on, John. I got a lot of weird movies.
The Japanese Salesman. Maybe we shouldn't pitch that movie on the
Salesman?
podcast.
Oh, the the Naked Director. I do recommend the Naked Director, but it's like an art. It's like an X-rated film, TV show. So be prepared for that.
You can't. If you're not old enough to watch it, then don't watch it. We don't
Yeah,
condone
if you're
that.
not above 18, get the heck out of Netflix.
If you're not above 18, sign up for Netflix because then they can't charge you for adult crimes.
What? Gosh.
What do you guys think of all the streaming services? That's all I've been talking about in one of my classes.
Like Disney Plus and crap. I think it kind of
Disney
blows.
Plus is doing one. Amazon's
it kinda
reworking
blows.
theirs. Apple's doing one. Hulu is a big contender. Netflix is one. There's another one I can't think of that was
I
a big
don't watch a
thing.
lot of TV, so I really don't care that much. I got Hulu, I got Netflix, I'm happy.
Well, I think these are the opposite of TV. Do you think these are going to kill TV? That was
I
a
actually,
discussion we had. Do you
I
think
actually,
streaming services will kill cable?
I
I
think
think they already have.
I think they pretty much have. Yeah, I agree with Tom, but I also think that it was doing it. It would be doing it better if it wasn't currently like becoming like a bunch of different streaming services. I think it's going to kind of decrease the like efficiency at which it's better than TV. Does that make sense? Because at this point, like it's really expensive to have Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, all that stuff. You know.
I think we're gonna do a thing where people are gonna have friend groups where there's the Disney Plus guy and then the Apple guy and the other
we
guy.
all have to
And we
watch
all
our
share
TV together.
accounts.
That's awful. What a dystopian.
You think that they're gonna make a
generation we're in.
crackdown on that, like the
I don't think
streaming
On
service
account sharing?
providers?
I don't
Yeah,
think they can. I don't think they're. Oh wait, account sharing, maybe.
yeah, account sharing.
Honestly, this is. Actually, I don't know if I should say this on the internet. We're good.
I
Jacob
think
downloads all his movies illegally.
There's a website I use not for streaming anything at all actually, but for something else. But it's like I
That
tried to
sounds
give.
worse.
It does sound really bad, doesn't it? It's homework related. But I tried to give my sister my account stuff so she could use it too, and it was like, "This is an unknown device. We're locking you out of your account until you change your password." I was like, "That's dope," and so it like stopped us.
Yeah, I think monitoring your. I think like they'll monitor your IP, and then if you like ping somewhere far away from where the home account normally does, I think two-factor authentication would probably be the way to go. Like,
That makes sense though, because like if honestly, if your account ends up being played in India out of nowhere, like you'd be pretty freaked out. Speaking of which, I got on my Epic account, which is the
someone
tried to hack
mine too.
the game launcher for Fortnite, and my account got hacked back last spring, I think. And so I didn't even realize this till like months later. But I checked my friends list, and I had multiple friends, and their names were just in Arabic, and I couldn't even read them. And I was like, "Oh yeah!" I was like, "My account got hacked," and I had to go delete them all off my friends list.
dude, the person who hacked your friends list must be so sad that all his friends got deleted.
It's the same guy who hacked my
Yeah.
Minecraft account. I'm pretty sure because my account on Minecraft was Muhammad.
Oh yeah, he joined the server and his name
It
was
was
Muhammad
Muhammad.
something.
It was funny. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's funny because I got it back. If I hadn't got it back, I'd be sad.
It's funny because nothing bad happened. If something bad happened, it's not funny.
Yeah.
That's why we recommend using NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Our sponsor
We're
for
not
this.
sponsored. We're not
A
sponsored.
service that doesn't even sponsor us. I bought NordVPN for like a month. It's pretty solid.
I used
It's
a
pretty useful.
VPN. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say VPNs tend to be useful if you do anything where like your latency matters, because the ability to like switch which routing nodes you go through is very strong.
Or if you want to watch Netflix in China.
That's what I'm. Okay,
Or in Hong Kong, perhaps.
that's what routing nodes are. Is you can say, hey, I'm from somewhere else, and your traffic will get routed appropriately.
I was trying to.
Or if you want to watch Netflix in China. I had to use a VPN twice in my life. Once was when AP scores, which was like the college credit classes you could take in high school, they would get released on the West Coast and then do chunks across the states. And being in Kentucky, we're like the last ones. So I would always use a VPN to change my phone to be in California so I could check my AP scores. Because it was silly. It wouldn't be based on where you took the test. It would just be based on where you were trying to access it. So even though I was a Kentucky student, I could just say I was in California and it would still give me my test scores.
Oh yeah, I did that same thing.
And then I tried to use one to download Final Fantasy 14, but that didn't work out.
What a silly pants.
VPNs, funnily enough, if you don't pay for them, if you use the free trials, they only allow you to use so much data. And downloading an entire MMO does not fit in that data requirement.
Who could have thought it?
Yeah, who would have thought of that?
Who would have thunk?
Not Jonathan.
Think about it. If Final Fantasy 14 would have downloaded the day I wanted to download, I could be literally the next Xenosis.
You would never be the next Xeno.
How do you know?
Because Xeno plays Final Fantasy 14 like for a living.
I could have.
You still can. Why aren't you?
Because I had to use a VPN to download it.
I don't think that's what was stopping you.
Because he's Jonathan bad.
It's not that because of that, well, it is. It's the butterfly effect. You don't know what's one small action could have a ripple in the future.
Hiram will mention that, like the butterfly effect, all the time without actually caring about whether or not it makes sense. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty easy to make. What context does he use it in where it doesn't work?
He'll do something and then nothing, like something not related whatsoever will happen to me in life, and he'll be like, "It's butterfly effect."
No, it works because it doesn't have to be related.
But like within the like a span of days, like a day or two, like my mom not wanting to like hang out with me because he like did something stupid.
This butterfly effect.
I
I'm with
guess so.
Hiram.
Also, if you can hear my roommates yelling, I'm sorry.
That's faint. But yeah, this buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Ooh.
It's so
Ooh,
good.
it's spicy. Oh, that's all buffalo in this dip.
There's 2 cups
Wait,
of buffalo.
John.
No, there's a cup of buffalo.
John, scoot over. Let me try some. Oh, wow, that's really good.
Oh yeah, we have to do the illusion. We're all in the same room.
We're all in the same room right now.
Get your elbow out of my ribs.
Whoa, Tom, what are you doing? That's crazy.
Sorry,
Get
I'm
your
falling
foot out
asleep.
of my
Guys,
buffalo
everybody,
chicken dip.
Tom's doing a handstand on the table right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm going crazy. I'm
Oh, he
doing
just
I'm doing
fell.
Orange Justice now. I fell into the Orange
That's
Justice
funny.
dance.
That's funny.
So we're talking about midterms and stuff. I wanted to segue into a topic because I took one of my midterms in a class I really, really enjoy because it's towards the end of my run of college. It's one of we're in the end game classes.
They have classes about Endgame.
Yeah.
You have to snap your fingers and say reality can be whatever I want, and whoever successfully changes reality gets the best grade in the class.
No, the professor at the beginning of the exam says, "I am inevitable." If you can come up with anything cooler to say than "I am Iron Man," you get 100 on the test.
Wow, I really liked that movie.
I like that movie. I did not like that scene. Him saying, "I am Iron Man," and then dying. So
No,
lame.
that's good. I actually have not seen Endgame, and way to tell me what he says before he dies, because I actually did not know that.
I don't care. You've waited too long, and you've not
No, I
seen
didn't.
Infinity War at this point.
I have seen Infinity War.
I thought you said you hadn't seen Infinity
This
War.
man just makes things up, and people.
Jonathan, you've just ruined Jacob's whole life because you spoiled Infinity War.
But he's seen Infinity War.
I can't believe that you would do this to him.
Spoiler
Okay.
alert, he should have gone for the head.
Okay, guys. Question of the day: identify the initial and final oxidation states for the element.
No chemistry. I was
chromium
talking
in the
about
place.
exams. I was going to say, in a class I really like, and I really, really like my professor because he's super cool. And the class is really easy for me. I took the exam, and I knew it was going to be cake. I got my exam back. I got 97. The points were 3 each. That means I missed 1 question. I'm so angry. If you took an exam, would you have rather made, on that exam, would you have rather made a 97 or a 94? Because I would have rather made a 94.
No, I would have rather made a 97. That's such a defeatist
97.
attitude, Jonathan.
What a stupid thing to say.
Yeah,
No,
like
I would rather
I
have
wanted
missed
less
2.
points because I would have rather had a perfect score. That
I
doesn't
would
make
have.
sense.
It's frustrating to me that I was so close to perfection. 2 off is still an A. I'm happy with that. I can go to sleep with a smile on my face.
Silly boy.
Yeah, but Jonathan, what if you had got the 94 instead of the 97, and you were 1 point away from having an A overall in the class?
Oh, then I'm just stupid and I deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why you always want the 97.
No,
I, on the
deserve
other
the
hand, would
97
rather
if I
have
made
a
94.
60 than a 90.
What the fuck?
Because I'm a genius.
Because you watched Joker.
To watch
Whoa.
Joker, now I really understand what it's like.
Society.
Society sucks.
No,
man.
I totally get that it makes complete logical sense to want the 97, but it
Do you?
frustrates me.
Yeah, I get that it's frustrating. I agree that it would be less frustrating to have earned a 94, but I still would want the 97.
Not knowing that I got a 97. If I had gotten a 94, I would have been like, man, I did really good on that. I only missed 2. Sweet. And then I would have moved on with life. But I got a 97. I was like, oh my gosh, I got a 97? Wait, I missed 1 question. And then I'm going to see that 1 question and it's going to frustrate me. And I'm like, I knew that. Even though I probably didn't. But once the answer's in front of my face, then who knows what I'm
Guys, can we just talk about Andrew Yang's alarmist
No.
rhetoric?
No.
He's emailing me right now, guys. Whether this campaign
I'm in direct correspondence with Andrew Yang.
No, I'm like a large donor.
And
for
this
him.
week's special guest.
I'm a large donor, so he emails me. Not him, but his like team. And so they email me whether this campaign rises or falls depends on you. And it's just like, I get it. You want money.
Well, yeah, you've shown that you're already willing to give him money, so he just
I've
wants
given
more.
all I can.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is here's what I believe. Your individual campaign contributions, like as a voter, don't matter. Why would you ever
That's
donate to
definitely
a
not
political
true.
candidate?
That's definitely
You're going to outgive a corporation.
homie. If your candidate doesn't take corporate money, you do matter.
If your candidate doesn't take corporate money, there's no way they out campaign people who do take corporate money.
Homie. My candidate is like in 4th place, and he does not take corporate money. Bernie Sanders doesn't take corporate money. He's like in 3rd or 2nd place sometimes.
Yeah, but that's why they keep pushing the narrative for Joe Biden, is because he takes corporate money.
That's why they can't. No.
Which is why if you log on to Facebook and you're like, oh, Democratic candidate.
No.
Everybody talks about Joe Biden.
Tom isn't quite understanding. It's not necessarily that like they pushing him because he has the corporate money. It's like
I don't think you watched Joker well enough, Tom.
No, my point is, well, honestly, the thing is that corporate money really doesn't make a candidate. It's the voting base. The issue is that
I agree. What I'm saying is that if you don't take corporate money, I'm not saying like I'm for candidate whatever, but like what I'm saying is
Tom's voting for Joe Biden.
If you say to yourself at the beginning of a campaign, I'm not accepting corporation money, I'm not accepting corporate donations, etc.
Yeah.
That's, I think, a great principle to have. I really do.
I'm choking on my bumbo dip.
I think those donations they come with a lot of like societal weight. But I think if you do accept the corporation money, you're ultimately going to have so much more money than people who don't.
Yeah.
That you can make yourself more you can make yourself known better than other people do. Which that's the only argument I'm trying to make. I don't know. I approach it with the same way of thinking that I approach people boarding and deboarding aircraft. Like
You're also continuing the conversation.
No, well, I'm shifting it to something to like.
Yeah, he's talking about airplanes right now.
The way I approach problem solving. Because if you ever look at simulations of how people like get onto an airplane, it's very hectic. Like you board by zone, you go to your seat, you put your luggage above your chair or whatever, and then you sit down. It's straightforward. But the way people do it is very differently than the way they could do it. Like, I would say on average, it takes about an hour to board a plane, like to get every passenger from the terminal onto the plane. But like, if people were to move with perfect efficiency, you could board everybody onto the plane in like 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I approach problems like, if people with like, how do you begin to instruct people to do the thing that drives them towards maximum efficiency? Which is like, how do you get people from taking an hour to board a plane to taking 4 minutes to board a plane or whatever? It's the same thing with like traffic. Like, how do you get people to avoid creating traffic? Because most traffic is completely imaginary, basically. If you ever look up diagrams of what are called the traffic snake, it's how traffic forms and how traffic vanishes. It's the same concept with boarding a plane, and that's how I approach problem solving. Is how do you create an environment in which people do the correct thing?
I think the ultimate answer is to actually take out the people, but that's just my personal.
No, I agree with you, but I'm saying in an environment where you can't remove the people.
That's true. I mean, I think cars is the one where you can, but I do understand how politics, which we're not going to talk about it, but I do think that's one where you really can't, obviously.
Planes. You want to stop the problem of people boarding planes? Get rid of the people.
Well,
erase.
Nobody
true.
gets on the plane.
That's true,
then
but I
there's
feel
no
like
problem.
there probably is a machine way of doing it better though. Is there not, Tom? Like, don't you think there's probably programs that could learn
We
to
put
like
them in a big
call
thing, and then a
people
claw
in
machine
like
grabs them
orders or
individually
something?
and puts them in their seat.
Oh,
No,
I
I mean-
could. There are like 1,001 ways that perfect particles could move into like an arrangement with like minimum like time loss. Like there's no doubt about that. The way people, if you as a human person ever do something, it's not perfect. That's just the nature of like the human struggle, basically. Like it's the same reason why like automation is a big deal. Is because a machine is perfect and also doesn't have to be paid a wage. So it's like I don't know. There's always a way to do what you're doing better. I shouldn't say better because in a lot of areas it's also subjective. Like in creative endeavors like music and art. But like computers can create music and art. Like
Yeah,
that's
they-
not but that's part of the whole like, your subjective tastes may or may not be met by a computer. So
I hope in my lifetime a computer program creates a video game that I get to play,
it already has.
like a big AAA title. Like I want
Oh
like
no,
the
that was
COD
not.
42 to be made by just computer AI, and it'd be like
that
AAA
would be
title with a
so
campaign and
insane.
multiplayer.
Y'all know how like that'd be crazy, Heike.
I've got a head scratcher for you.
Okay, scratch my head.
What would you do if you were a genie and a person asked you this wish? I wish you would not grant me this wish. What would you do?
Oh, this is a paradox.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
No. This is well, as a genie, you can just be a dick.
I would kill the person.
No, you got to do it like a genie would.
As a genie,
Yeah.
I would create an alternate timeline with my magic powers, and I would send them to that reality, and I would say, you now exist in a reality where I didn't grant the wish, and it's just nothing's changed except now that's a timeline where I don't exist.
I would walk up to the person and I'd kick him right in the nards.
You can't because you're a genie. You don't have legs. You have a
Okay,
tail.
I'd punch him right in the no area.
You're a terrible genie.
I am a bad genie. I was never born a genie. Didn't really ever plan to be one.
Oh yeah, but
I like
also in
the-
my reality, he stops existing.
Oh.
That way, I never have to
Thumbs
deal with
up.
somebody
Also-
who asks a dumb wish again.
Didn't you dictate everything that happens after that because it's an alternate reality?
I mean, I could, but no.
Because that would be the genie twist. It's like the plain Jane answer is it's just another dimension that's the same. Because in that dimension you didn't grant it, but you technically did by showing him that. That's how you get around the paradox. But the genie twist is like in that dimension, for some reason, everyone's head explodes after breathing in oxygen or something.
That sounds extremely gratuitous.
I don't know. It's like the Doofenshmirtz quote where he's like, you ask to jump higher and he turns you into a frog. Why does he do this? Who gains from this? The genie? What in life is beautiful to you and where do you find inspiration? I'm just on a thread of like deep questions. Speaking of beautiful and things that aren't, what I worked on last weekend instead of us not doing this podcast was me and my friend Noah Jones, who was the first guest, worked on something called a 4-chord song. And I will say nothing more other than that. As soon as we finish it, it will be featured on the podcast.
I was gonna be
Jacob
mean,
laughs at me creating something.
yeah, I was gonna just randomly just make a negative comment about it, but I decided against it.
I think there's a lot of beauty in
God.
like mathematical models, basically. There you go. There's the giggle. But
I'm not really giggling. It's more like we're just different people, and I'm just understanding that.
like seeing how things could be, like literally, and like interpreting the patterns of what causes things to be the way they are is interesting to me.
Well, I hear
I
what
think
you're
it's
saying.
cool.
Politics.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Talk about it.
No, so I get what you're saying actually. In the pursuit of understanding things. And
What's
shit.
yours, Jacob? Andrew Yang?
I see beauty in the complexity of our minds and the mystery of the world.
I'm doing to you what you do to others.
I don't even do it on purpose either.
That's the worst part.
Actually, I wasn't. It's
critical.
not mocking. It's not even necessarily mocking. It's okay if everyone say whatever they want to say. I was mocking you, but that's just because I was trying to be mean to you. I wasn't trying to mock
Usual.
Tom. It just sounded really funny.
Hey, I didn't make fun of your YouTube channel where you played Battlefront 2.
To be quite honest, I don't really care.
You
It's
did
all
in the
good.
moment.
What do you mean about the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I still thought it was pretty cool, but like if you were to mock it, it's whatever. You feel what I'm saying?
To a degree, I guess.
Oh shit, my chemistry homework. Like I'm a little more worried about my chemistry homework than you mocking my YouTube Battlefield.
Well, I'm not mocking it.
I know, but you said okay, never mind.
I talked about it, and then you got very defensive, and that was funny. But I would never take something you spent time to create,
I mean,
even
it's
if it was
pretty
just a big
dumb.
meme. Even if it was just a big meme, something you personally created and put it out in the world.
Somebody
go up to
tell
you and be
me
like, "This is."
oxidization number of CH4.
Jacob doesn't respect other people's creations.
I do. I respect plenty of people's other creations.
Just not mine.
I respect yours fine. I just make fun of you because I don't know, it's funny. Also, you're my friend, so I know you don't take it super personally.
I do. I cry every night.
Damn.
How
It's
do you
really
picture
hot in my
life?
room. It's really uncomfy.
Do you believe that there is good in everyone?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I don't see why not.
I'm just
way-
running through the list.
The way I go about it is like I kind of feel like I'm kind of good, and if I'm good, I'm assuming most people are also good. Like I want to be here. I'm actually not good. I'll be honest. I'm not good, right? But it's the pursuit. Like I wish to be good. I wish I was better, and I try all the time to try to be the best I can, and to be good towards people and be like a decent person. And
Do
I
you
think that
it's possible for someone to be born devoid of all good?
I don't. That really depends on the definition of good and evil, though, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Which I don't believe in evil. So I mean, it's whatever.
Then what do you describe? What other people would describe as evil?
I've always said that I don't believe in evil people. I believe in broken people. People who just have kind of the world is beating them up a little bit, and therefore they treat others poorly, not because they're bad, but because they've kind of been conditioned to see people in a negative way. They think we're evil, and so they act evil. If that makes any sense.
I agree and disagree, but on the note of this not getting too serious, I'm not gonna pursue this. Pursue
Okay.
the thought. Because I agree with you, but then my examples of me disagreeing you are like really like serious and
Like evil
that's
people.
not comfortable.
I don't know. There are like people that are like psychopaths and stuff, but I think most normal people like who, I don't
How
know.
do you manage stress?
I don't know. I'm still
I
dealing with that.
apparently have anxiety right now, but I don't
How what?
unforeseen.
What?
No, I was not legit, like not clinically prescribed, but I don't know. I've just been off of funk, and there's been some things going on, and I was kind of telling my symptoms to my roommates, and then one of them was like, "That's like me when I'm anxious about something, or like if I'm
Damn.
having anxiety about something," and I'm like, "But I don't really like. There's nothing going on."
No, I understand what you're saying because sometimes like I don't necessarily understand that. Like I'll just feel bad and then like I'll feel tired and stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm just anxious.
I deal with it in a very cathartic way. I'm just very vocal about it, like literally.
It's like the fifth time you've used the word cathartic.
I
You
Well,
couldn't
it's
even use it.
It's
I know,
only
I
like the
couldn't
second
say it.
time I've used it on the podcast.
No, I know. It's just funny to me. It was just funny to me. It's all good.
Like
Jacob hasn't
it's
used it yet. He said cathartic.
I did.
that's just like what it is. Like if I'm like stressed about something, I don't really do anything about it until I like fix the issue, and then it's
And
like
you feel
very
better.
clearly like it's a it's like an emotional swell. It's like, yes, I'm done. Ah.
That makes sense. That's
We
fair.
did not handle it at all freshman year. Remember
Well,
that
yeah,
with me and Alex?
Yeah, I remember that, but that's part of how I deal with it. Is I have friends that I talk to about it, and yeah, I get that I'm like I don't talk about it well, but I talk about it.
That was a funny and not funny conversation. Because it was funny how we were talking about it, because we were all like, we know each other pretty well and being helpful and chill. Not funny in that, it was serious issues going on. Because you were like basically saying everything that could just be simplified as I am stressed out right now. But you were going on very long tangents. And and he's like, I don't know what it is. And we're like, you're stressed out. And then finally there was a moment of clarity where something Alex said or I said clicked everything. It's funny when that happens though, when you're like trying to describe something and the other person knows exactly what you mean, but they've not said the thing to you that fits. I don't know if that makes sense in description, but in my head it does.
Kind of.
What is the wisest thing you have heard someone say?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, that one's a rough one. Is it easier to hate or to love? Why?
Hate.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to hate.
No, I meant like harder.
Oh no, I definitely think it's easier to hate somebody.
No, I tend to, I don't know, I tend to forgive a lot of people.
It depends on the scenario.
That's true.
I think hate can be more easily drawn out as like a lashing of emotions.
That's true. That's true. But
But I
think
think a
tend to,
lasting thing.
there's something like I have a bad habit of like since I'm a person who has social needs and who feels like most people are probably like deep down a lot like me. I tend to, especially when I don't know, I feel like a connection with certain people, and I love a lot of people, honestly. Even people like who don't know me very well, I tend to love them and like care about their well being. So
Jacob and I used to have deep talks like this, but he outgrew me.
you don't hang out with me all the time, homie. I'm still having them.
You never want to hang out.
Well,
If
homie,
you could have chosen your own name, what would you have
I'm
picked?
busy. Oh, Ryan, or I'd go by Jake. I've messed up. I keep going by Jacob. I can't ever change it either because there's just too many people.
We could just start calling you Jake.
No, there's just too many people to have to tell, man.
Well, yeah, but you could start with some people if they like
No,
you don't.
it's
If you
just
just
too
want to
hard.
go by Jake.
What if you
calling
graduate
you
and
Jake
move
from now
somewhere for a
There's-
job?
there's-
You could
there's
be
this-
Jake there.
There's this cute girl that I met over the weekend, and
You
and
introduce yourself as Jake.
she's already calling me Jacob, and I'm like, I thought I'm just screwed, everybody.
I have a funny one in relation to this. When I was in first or second grade, I don't remember which, but I remember I was at Cornerstone. I was
Hey, good old Cornerstone.
I was so tired of writing my full name out as Jonathan because everyone else in the class had like small names. It was like Nick and Mike and Dave. I don't know. These weren't real people, but they had short names because I don't want to name drop people.
Person.
So I just one day out of the blue, without telling anybody, on all of my not my friends, because I was still Jonathan by my friends, because saying it's cake, it's just writing it on all my schoolwork assignments. I just started writing Roy as my name because he was my favorite character in Super Smash Brothers Melee, and I thought that name was cool. And then I started doing poorly in the class, but some guy named Roy was doing just fine. What's something that no one else knows about you? Don't answer this one. I'm just scrolling through my list. 6 provoking questions to ask a girl. Jacob, what's the best approach to resolving conflict?
Just being honest, being like I like trying to understand. First of all, this is one that is really upsetting for me, especially. You have to make sure you understand the other person's perspective. It's very important. Like you have to make sure you make it known. I know what you're thinking, and you're like, it's right. Like it makes sense. Like it's not silly, you know. Like everyone has like a logical way they think about things, and it all makes sense. Like in our little monkey brains. But
I have a big monkey brain.
but then the thing is
I
like,
only
you
No,
use
have
my
to
small
monkey
do that.
brain is
percentage of
very
it.
small.
You have to like start getting to like, okay, but then like this is
What if
what
you
I'm
used all of
saying,
your
like,
monkey
make
brain?
sure they understand. I'm having trouble right now finding the oxidization number of BA too.
Use more of your monkey brain.
Anyway, but yeah, you just gotta make sure that like you're honest about it. You're like, hey, oh, I'm freaking stupid. Be like, yeah,
His
yeah,
monkey brain is activating.
I get where you're coming from.
He's
and,
gone to 2%. Wasn't there a movie where they're like scientifically experimenting on a girl, and it was like, what if she could use all of her brain, and she started like warping reality around her?
You know who played in that movie?
No.
Scarlett
Cammy's
Johansson.
mom.
Cammy's mom.
What is your biggest passion, Tom?
Magic the Gathering, hands down.
I like how it was bam.
I don't know if I
I
know.
don't know. That one's hard for me.
Yeah.
My passions are very quick to burn and fleeting.
Well, like there are a lot of things that I like.
Like
I like
tonight,
Final
it's about
Fantasy
what you can do.
14. I like Pokemon. I like video games in general.
Video
But if I had to
bugs.
pick like one thing that if I had to spend the rest of my life on the one thing and it would make me the happiest, it'd be Magic the Gathering.
That's a gift and a curse. Or
I think
something that you think going into it's nice, but do you think that like at the end of a long life of nothing but if you had to make that choice?
I mean, if you're saying what I'm saying is if by playing Magic the Gathering, either, like on stream or at tournaments or whatever, if by some means I could make a decent living, I would do that. What I'm not saying is that I would give up my means to a living like wage, basically. So I'm not going to like forsake my education for the manner of streaming Magic the Gathering or whatever. But what I am saying is if I could live my life within well enough means just by playing Magic, if I would be satisfied with myself on my deathbed, I would say yes, I lived every day of my life doing what I thought was a way to maintain like my mental fortitude and walk through logical solutions to like because I view Magic as a game where the objective of the game is to outthink your opponent a majority of the time. Sure, there are certain games of Magic you play where it's just like you steamroll somebody or you get steamrolled or whatever, and there's no thinking to be done.
Who has more money? We're back to that problem.
But like in a good game of Magic, the ability to figure out what your opponent is doing and what information, because of the information they've given you and the information you've given them, I think that aspect of Magic makes it the best game of all time. Like, I don't think maybe there are games that are more fun or whatever,
Sure,
but I don't think you ever.
That's chess as well.
I don't think you ever feel like as satisfied playing Smash Brothers as you do playing Magic. You never feel as engaged playing Final Fantasy as you do playing Magic. You never feel as
I would say
you never feel like
I think you should word that as I.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's my opinion.
I mean, it's a well thought out answer, and I like it. But I also think that it's a you thing. Not everybody enjoys that level of mental engagement in their game, and that's why they don't like Magic, or they wouldn't like Magic. And I think your answer is really good. I was meaning it in the context of the curse as in a hypothetical world where you had to give up literally everything else. Like a genie was like, you pick one thing.
Oh, then I pick breathing so that I don't die instantly.
Well, like hobby. Anyway, no, I agree with you. I agree with what you said. I mean, it's a very you answer. I mean, it's can't be wrong. That's what you think.
Yeah, that's right.
The only thing I would say is that it's an I instead of a you, but
I don't know. I say you because I know there are people that I play Magic with that feel the same way.
Well, yeah, but you guys there.
So those are just people that like enjoy
people
Magic
who enjoy Magic for that reason.
Yeah.
I understand wholeheartedly where you're coming from. While you were saying that, what if we made chess but we had a rotating format of chess. We would introduce new pieces that would do different things, and old ones would leave.
I don't think that works because in Magic you also have variants of like the draw. So
I
like
was just thinking
by
about
having
chess. I'm not trying to turn chess into Magic. I'm
Yeah,
just
he was
saying.
no, I know, but I'm saying that if you are having a rotating format of chess, that doesn't work. You have to have something that causes the games to be different enough to warrant.
All right, we take the
change.
rook and the bishop, and then next week we throw them out. And we do something, and those two, everything, the pawn, the knight, the queen, the king, it's all the same. The win condition is still capture king. Anywho, last of this long thread of answers. Actually, kind of like we did this one night in the apartment where we were just asking like really deep questions and like make you
Is that a really
provoke
deep
your thought
question?
about, well, not like really deep, but just like things that make you think about like you personally or like your
That's fair.
viewpoints on the world. And because like there are no wrong answers necessarily because
Except for
it's
the ones that are
your
mine.
viewpoint. Like, and this is the last one I want to end on because I think it's an interesting question. And there's no right answer or wrong answer. It's would you like to be famous? And if so, in what way?
Indifferent.
Because I think that's a good question if you're really honest with yourself.
I wouldn't want to be famous as a public figure. I would only want to be famous as in my Twitch stream gets the most viewers because that means I get the most money.
Yeah, I'm a little. Actually, you know, I take it back. No, I don't know. I'm a little indifferent to being famous. I think fame isn't necessarily the same thing as success.
I think there are fields where fame equals success, but
That's true,
yeah.
but I don't want to be
but
in any
yeah,
of them.
no,
so-
I agree. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't want to be famous. And basically, what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't want to be famous unless my popularity directly equates to me making a better living for myself. Like,
I
if
think
I
the
could,
heart of the question is like the fame. Like, do you want your name to be known by so many people? And it's not the occupation. Like, it's not do you want to have a successful Twitch stream? It's do you want to be famous on Twitch?
I
Like,
would say
you could get a
yes.
perfectly normal job doing something else that would pay an equal amount, but would you rather do something else but be famous? And I don't know because I think it sounded a little,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
it's that was bad. It's interesting because I don't know. Yeah, I'm with Jacob indifferent because I think a lot of people would say yes immediately to fame. And it's like I want to be like an actor, or I want to be like this great musician.
Hi, I would say.
And for some fields, they chase that, and you want to be famous. But I wonder what, and there's no way to do it other than being famous, and then it's not like you get an opt-out choice. But like, we don't really know what fame is like, world renown, and what that does to like your psyche, and like how it affects you, and like the inability to just have like a normal life is gone then because you're famous.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you slip up once and you're all over. I mean, if you're a Twitch streamer, you slip up once, you're all over Kotaku, and so many like thousands of people hate you now for just some normal mistake that they probably make on a daily basis.
do you think that people who become famous in a incremental manner, like let's continue this model. Let's say you're a Twitch streamer and you've been streaming for years, and every year you get like 1,000 average viewers on your stream. So like year one, you're streaming. Let's say you start January 1st. On December 31st, you have 1,000 viewers, and then you have January 1st, and you still have like 1,000 viewers. But then you go to December 31st of that next year, you have 2,000 viewers. I'm sure that's not like an accurate rate, or even
This
like
is a hypothetical. You can be
yeah.
however you want it to be. Let's
What
say it
I'm saying
increments in
is
like at an exponential rate of like 1 year is 1,000. The next year you're averaging 2,000. The next year you're
what
averaging
I'm getting at
4,000,
is
8,000, 16. Da 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 da.
to somebody who does that is, do you think would they perceive themselves as famous?
After they hit like a certain break point?
Do you no? What I'm saying is, do you think they would ever like literally blindingly come to the realization that like, oh, I am now famous?
I think in the middle area it may be gray, but I think if they continue on that path, I think eventually you have to realize, like, because with Twitch streaming, like, the more famous you are, obviously, like, the more success you're going to have. And then once you start doing it, is like, once it just becomes a hobby or like a thing you did that paid a little bit into something that, like, you have a better livelihood than most people because of what you do on it. I think at that point you have to admit to yourself that it's fame.
Well, what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to get to is that, like, if you claw your way up or whatever, you may not think of yourself that way. Like, you just may not come to that realization because to you, you've worked for everything, or I say worked, you streamed for everything. Not to imply that streaming isn't work, but my point being is that what if somebody is blind to the reality they are famous? Do you think that they would eventually perceive themselves as such?
I think if they didn't go like super global or become like Ninja, but they were like what the community would call famous, or like a commonplace name, but they weren't that big. Like if you were, I don't know, this League, perfect
Noel
example.
Miller.
Like there's probably, and you're gonna name one, a League streamer who's big in the community but not big outside of it.
Okay.
I was expecting you to say a
Oh.
name, and then my point was
No,
going to
I
be
don't
like, I have
actually
no.
watch a lot of League.
What streaming
the
do
best
you watch?
example I could say is
One Berry.
the best
No.
example for League that I could come up with for that would be like I'm a Cutie Pie, because he's not like crazy popular for League anymore, but he's also been playing WoW Classic recently, and his viewers for WoW Classic are significantly lower than his viewers for League of Legends.
I think it's also difficult because then now we have to quantify at what level are you famous.
That's the heart of this that's the heart of this question is
Like, so I've got a good
is
one.
how do you define fame?
The YouTuber named Shammy. I don't think Jacob knows who he is, but I've sent you a couple of his videos. I don't know if you remember him or not.
Loki sounds familiar.
So he doesn't make a lot of content. His videos he has made has garnished a decent amount of views. And he has this community around him that like wants to know what he's doing, and he doesn't make videos that often. He's kind of quit making videos. There's people always like, when's he coming back? All this stuff. And there's a good amount of views there. He is famous, but he's not like the upper echelon of YouTube, you know. He's not a commonplace name. But he has a lot of views, so that's the rough area with fame. Is, you know, especially I think in this area with like content creation and like YouTube and Twitch and stuff, like there's so many things spread among so many niche interests and stuff like that. In a community they can be famous, but if you're not a part of that community, you don't have any idea who they are. Do you know who King Gothalion is?
Nope.
He's one of the biggest Destiny streamers in the community. He's not like, you may know who Professor Broman is. I think he's probably one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I've ever heard of Dom.
Or Dado. But like King Gothalion, Hunter saw him when he was on break and like freaked out to me, but I didn't care about like the streaming community for Destiny, but I played it at the time. He's like, I saw King Gothalion, and I was like, I have no idea who that is. He's like, he's a Destiny streamer. He's really famous. And I was like, oh, well, no, I don't know. So that's weird with fame. I don't know.
What is famous? Well, that was really cool.
It's a very tough.
I'm famous.
Yeah, the Talk Louder podcast is famous. No, we're not.
We could be.
In an alternate universe.
But yeah, with the thing with like faming, like what would you want to be? A long time ago, not too long ago, I would have probably been like, I want to be famous for making YouTube videos because I had idols that I would watch and I'd be like, that's what I want to do for a living. That seems so much fun.
I want to be a magician.
But in the week we took off, no, magic gives me so much stress performing for other people. I could not be a professional magician. I guess if I was so good that I would never have to worry. You're sidetracking me. I was gonna say, when the week we took off, last weekend was nice because I didn't have and it's not like the stress is like so bad, but like for a Sunday and Monday, I didn't have to work on this, which now I miss. I'm glad we're doing it again, and I do enjoy making this podcast. But if my job was pushing out videos every single day and making them like high quality and making sure it's like good content and all this stuff, and I don't know, just doing this, which I have a schedule outside this because I do school and work and stuff like that. But that would just be my job. But I don't know. It's definitely through watching the thing that's happening with Funhouse since Bruce is leaving. It's been very eye opening to see that there is a process that goes behind successful YouTube channels, and the work there is so much more than I ever gave them credit for. Like it's much more serious than I thought. And then just doing this, trying to keep a weekly schedule and editing it and stuff like that. As you can see, we got 5 deep before we messed it up. So no, I mean, if anything, it's just a respect of content creators and stuff like that. And that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. I know some people are just like, you get paid to play video games? Thanks for the feedback into my conversation, guys.
It was really good. It was a good point.
I guess it's more of a monologue and less of a dialogue, but
I'm getting sleepy, homie.
yeah, I was gonna say it's about that time to wrap up. So I was just gonna say, good conversation. We'll cut some bits about the politics there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Further reminder that we don't talk about politics. We try not to, or religion.
So,
but
down
see
in
the
the comments, who your favorite?
yeah, in the comments, type who your favorite.
Without getting political, everyone give your opinion on Donald Trump.
Without getting political, please. So Thomas will accept any corporate donations to the channel, but Jacob only accepts.
Individual
Okay,
donations.
that's enough for this week's episode. We're back. Hopefully, you didn't miss us too much last week. We're gonna do better. We'll try not to miss weeks. Sorry for hiatus, but
Love
we'll
y'all.
keep things rolling. Sorry, Hashmi, you missed one.
Don't rag on Hashmi. I love Hashmi.
No, I'm saying sorry that he had to miss one. I'm apologizing to him for not making an episode last week.
Yeah.
And Curtis, because I know he watches them every week.
Thanks, Curtis.
But yeah, that's all we got for this week. Hopefully we'll have a guest lined up for next week, but if not, it'll just be us 3 again. And we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
He already stopped it.
No, I didn't.